Rogers TV, Durham Region. The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
Hey, what's good, everybody? This is the Players Corner with Karim Grant. I'm your host, Karim Grant. Today we have a very special guest in the studio today. We have none other than the Juno-nominated and Grammy-nominated producer, Jordon Manswell. Jordon, it's great to have you today, man. How you been, man?
Super happy to be here.
Are you really super
good.
happy?
I've been good.
I gotta see it, man. It's good to
I'm
see.
excited, yeah.
It's good. It's good to see you, man. I mean, I've just been watching your rise to stardom in the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm so happy that you are where you are. Where did this start? How did this happen?
Man, it started in my grandmother's house. Just being around music all the time, being in church, supposed to be doing things that I wasn't doing. You know, like all that stuff just inspired the music because I'm like a very passionate person. Right. So I have to, in order for me to do something over and over and over, I have to be passionate about it. I have to love it. And beat making was like the thing that actually stuck. So I just kept doing it all the time.
So you would just sit there on your computer and just make beats?
Yeah. A lot of time, like my cousins and stuff, like little cousins, we used to just like do little battles to see who can make the best beat out of the same sample or who can, you know, just make the best beat, period. So that's a lot of that. I guess competitive nature came from there.
What do you mean? When you say sample, what's a sample? When I think of sample, I think of Costco. Getting free samples. That's what I think of.
So a sample is essentially taking a piece of music from another piece of music that already exists and interpolating it in your own way and using it differently to make your own new piece of music.
Okay. I got you. Now that's incredible. So you would have these little beat battles with your cousins. Yeah. And would you ever say, you know what, I'm gonna sell these beats?
Yeah. I actually started selling beats in grade 5 because I wanted an MP3 player and my mom said, okay, you have to wait until the next report card comes out because she wanted me to get good grades to get the MP3 player, but I wasn't really with that, so I decided, let me just put some beats on a CD player or on a CD and sell them to people at school. There was only like 2 rappers in the school at that point.
Right.
So
are they famous now, those rappers?
No, they're not famous. They're really good at the time, but no.
Do you think it was because of your beats that they didn't become famous? I'm just joking.
That's crazy.
That's incredible. So grade 5, so you're probably like what, 9, 10 years old?
Something like that.
And you were making beats. So when did your first beat that you actually produced get bought by someone who actually was somebody?
Keisha Shante.
Wow.
Keisha Shante was actually my first.
I did not know that. Shout out Keisha Shante.
Yeah, shout out to Keisha Shante.
Wow.
That's the homie still though.
Okay. So do you remember the beat? Do you remember how it sounded?
Yeah, it's called I can't remember the name. It's on her album Unbound or something like that.
So she used it?
Yeah, she used it. It's out on, like, you can actually still find the record.
Wow, that's incredible. I did not know that. Wow,
Yeah,
I'm so close to you. I did not know that. Actually, there's so much things that I don't know that I'm sure we're going to find out by talking to you today, man.
For sure.
So Keisha Shante bought your first beat from you. Mm-hmm. After that, I guess you just exploded. So how old were you then?
That's not true though. I didn't explode after the Keisha Shante, but I really don't remember. But it had to be like first year university, which is probably like 18, 19, something like that. Yeah. But that was the first time actually making like money off of.
Wow. Do you remember how much you got paid for that?
It had to be something like $500 or something like that. Yeah.
That time,
that's a
lot of money, right?
I could have gotten paid $100 and I would have been excited because that's like, it's something that I was gonna do anyway. So if I can get paid for it, then
I feel like $500 at that time when you're probably like a teenager is like enough money to say when your mom's like, yo, when you say to your mom, I want to go to McDonald's, she's like, I don't have enough money. You're like, I got this. Chill.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
Right. That's incredible. So after that, like, talk about the other artists you've worked with.
Since then, I've been working with like Daniel Caesar and like Mariah Carey, Division. Yeah,
so he just glossed over the fact that he works with Mariah Carey, Daniel Caesar, Division. These are all platinum selling artists.
Yeah.
Well, at least 2 of them are. You know what I mean? All three of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
You know, how did you get to the point where you can be on a level where you can say, hey, here's my music, take it, see what you want to do with it?
The Battle of the Beatmakers started pretty much everything for me.
Okay. So talk about the Battle of the Beatmakers. Where did that come from?
Battle of the Beatmakers is in Toronto. Shout out to Clifton. I can't remember his last name, but Clifton, yeah, they started this thing. 32 producers downtown Toronto come through and just battle the beats as if it were like a rap battle.
Right.
And just like, yeah, one person plays a beat, the other plays a beat, the crowd reacts, the judges react.
Yeah.
And then we see who gets to the top.
Right. So a little fun fact, I remember I worked with one of the organizers of the Battle of the Beatmakers. Her name was Priya. Shout out to Priya.
Shout out to Priya.
Yeah, Priya and Adrian.
Yeah.
And they used to do this beatmaker thing every year. And I'm like, yo, the amount of time that Jordon spends, making beats, let me see if he's up to something. Let me see if he can really, stand up with the best. And I remember the first year you did. You remember that first year you did that?
I think you're the one that told me to
I sure did.
Get in it. Yeah. No, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we, I think both me and Javelle went in, and we both didn't get in.
Right.
And then the year after, I think I got in and lost. And then the year after.
So talk about the year you lost.
The year I lost.
How was that? How did you feel?
Pain. That was the first type of like real pain I had, like when it comes to music, because
you're an artist, right? And you want your stuff to be respected out there. When it's not taken in a certain way, you feel down about it, right?
Yeah. And then I had to watch on YouTube like everybody play their beats, and I'm here thinking, man, I can do that. Like, I'm better than these guys. I can do this, but I just didn't have the actual music to prove it yet. But I knew I was better.
Right. So fast forward to the next year, what happens?
Then next year I got in, and then the first round I got in, I had to go up against the champion from the year before.
Wow.
So who
was that?
Mr. Magic.
Mr. Magic.
He had already had the clout. He already had the fan base. He had the judges. Like, everyone was already rocking with him. So it was already tough for me. But I went in. I made a bunch of connections. I met a bunch of other producers. We started collaborating. Some other artists started to hear my work, and then by the next year, it was go time.
So when you won the Battle of the Beatmakers, shout out to Urbanology magazine as well.
Yes, sir.
Check out my column, The Grand Slam, by the way. Anyways.
Yes, plug it.
Yeah, a shameless plug.
Yeah.
So you won that Battle of the Beatmakers, okay? You also you went home with some hardware.
I did, yeah.
So,
I still have the championship cup in my studio.
Right.
I think I got a cash prize, and I got like some keyboards and stuff, of which I still have in my studio.
Do you still use them?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
I got 2 keyboards, some headphones, like all type of stuff.
Yeah, they took care of you.
Yeah,
that was great. That's
definitely.
great. So after that, was there a lull, or was there just like, okay, I'm on a rise right now?
There was a little bit of a lull, like for me personally. From the outward looking in, maybe not, but to me it was always like, I just always know my potential. I always know where I can go or where I'm supposed to be. So to me, if I'm not doing like the best of the best, it's like, this is okay.
Okay, so you have a gospel background in terms of being in the church and all that. How did you translate that musical ear into hip hop, R&B, and everything else?
Yeah, well, it was hard because even if you listen to the battle, like a lot of those chords and things that were happening in the music aren't necessarily like hip hop things. I was trying to be in the hip hop world, but the music wasn't necessarily connecting.
Right.
So I had to kind of like do my own beat tapes and stuff to kind of have people understand where I'm trying to go, because people wouldn't use my beats because, I don't know, they just didn't understand it.
Yeah. So I mean, what you do is a lot like, the athletic journey, because we go on a stage,
right,
and we got to perform a certain way, and just same way as you got to perform, and sometimes it's not taken well, right? And sometimes it is taken well. So, but obviously the things that you've done have really pushed your ascension.
Yeah.
After the Battle of the Beatmakers, what was the biggest thing you did?
After the Battle of the Beatmakers, I think it was probably the Daniel Caesar song.
Okay.
Since then, yeah.
What was the name of the song?
The song was We Find Love.
We Find Love.
Yeah,
that's a big song. It's a big track.
Yeah, it did pretty well.
Yeah.
Like that's a classic album in my opinion. Like,
Right.
you know, that's a really classic R&B album. I'm just happy to be, you know, to play my little part in it. But
Yeah.
that was the thing that said, okay, this guy can actually like make music.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know you knew Daniel before that.
Yeah.
Was that transition easy to say, here's what I do, here's my art form, and for him to accept it?
Yes and no, because Daniel's my brother, like for life at this point. So
Right.
he had already clicked up with Jordan Evans and Matthew Burnett, and he had his clique pretty much solidified in terms of like keeping the music cohesive and his brand and everything. So it wasn't necessarily the easiest to like always make music with him, but
Right.
that song just happened randomly, just out of nowhere,
Nice.
of something that I didn't even like. So it wasn't the easiest, but it happened, perfect timing,
Yeah.
you know, and that kind of thing.
So do you find that happens a lot where you work on something really hard, you put your time and effort into it,
Yeah.
and nobody likes it? And
Every
then
time.
the thing that you don't put your time and effort into,
Every time.
that's what they love?
Every time.
How does that make you
It's
feel?
annoying. It's really annoying.
Right.
Now I'm starting to figure out, okay, where I should put my actual hard work into, because you know it's about working smart at the end of the day. So I know I still spend a lot of time, but I just know where to channel my efforts into, like the places that actually matter,
Right.
instead of, you know, EQing a snare or doing like the smallest little things or adding too many things. I can still spend time in like making it simpler or making it sound like I didn't spend a lot of time on it, you know.
Wow. So rewind just a little bit back to your childhood. You're a big guy. What are you, about
Yeah.
6'4", 6'5"?
6'3.5".
6'3.5"?
something like that,
Okay,
yeah.
we'll say 6'4",
6'4".
whatever. I'm sure, did you ever play any sports?
I did. I played basketball for a bit. My religion kind of took those
Yeah.
dreams away from me, but
Did you see yourself in this realm maybe 10, 15 years ago as being a music producer?
not at all.
What did you want to be when you were younger?
when I was younger, I wanted to be a GM, actually. Like, I wanted to kind of be on the business end.
Wow.
Because I knew, like, I loved playing basketball, but I knew I didn't love it as much as my friends did. Like,
Wow.
my friends would, like, buy all the gear and watch every night and do, you know, and I was interested, but it just wasn't me. But I knew the business end of it was interesting.
Right.
So, yeah, I didn't see myself in the NBA like that.
So you're a kid from Whitby, all right, and you get commissioned to go to LA to work. How was that experience?
It's amazing. It's literally everything you ever dream of. Like, you get to fly and then go into like nice houses and stay in great hotels and eat crazy food, and like it's literally it's amazing. Like, you just see a whole other side of life that so many people don't get a chance to see.
Wow.
So it's really a blessing.
That's incredible. I mean, you're probably rubbing shoulders with some of the biggest names in Hollywood,
Yeah.
and biggest names in music industry.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to talk a little bit more about that after we come back from break. I really want you to expand and get some real inside information about that, because you know, we're like fans. We want to find out what's happening, right?
Gotcha.
You know, you're a kid from Whitby, kid from the Durham area. It's gonna, I really want to get into that kind of stuff. So we'll get back with Jordon Manswell after these commercial messages. Thank you so much for joining the Players Corner with Karim Grant. I'm your host, as always, Karim Grant.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
We need you, MacGruber. My country has invited me to die for it, and I RSVP'd Yes, Queen.
I'm in.
Thank you, soldier.
You're gonna get us all killed.
We only have about 24 hours to stop him. I'd bet your baby's life on it.
MacGruber?
I don't want Piper's baby to get murdered or even die of natural causes, but that's how certain I am. Classic MacGruber.
MacGruber, all new Sunday at 9, only on Showcase.
This is Rogers TV.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is the Players Corner with Karim Grant. In studio, we have today Jordon Manswell talking to us about being nominated for a Grammy Award, being nominated for a Juno Award, and everything else in between. Jordon, let's talk about some of your major influences.
Yeah.
Growing up, who were your major influences?
Growing up, I gotta say Jermaine Dupri, like Scott Storch, Boy Wonder, T-Minus.
Shout out Boy Wonder, another Durham region,
For sure.
Individual who's made some big strides in the music industry.
He's a Toronto godfather.
Right.
I had to call him.
The Toronto Godfather.
Godfather,
Okay, new name alert.
For sure. Yeah.
That's what's up, man. So I mean, those are some great names. I've had the pleasure of meeting two of them. I haven't met Scott Storch. I've met Jermaine Dupri when I was in Atlanta one time.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, he's about 3 apples high.
Yeah. For sure.
But he's a great individual.
Yeah.
I met Boy Wonder once when he came by the office some years ago when he wasn't who he was, but he was on his way to being who he is now.
Yeah.
So we're talking about yourself going to LA and working with some of the biggest names in the music industry. You were signed to 1985. Explain to everyone who 1985 is.
1985 is another one of my influences, but he's just an incredible producer. He produced songs like Hotline Bling and like One Dance for Drake and Truffle Butter for Nicki Minaj, and he's one half of Division as well. He's just incredible.
He's pretty big.
Yeah.
So he signed you to a production deal.
Yeah.
So now when you produce music, you're under his company.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then he'll
nice.
help me get a different contacts. He'll put me in rooms with the other people and stuff like that.
Nice.
So,
And he's Canadian as well too, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
He's from Durham as well.
Oh, another Durham region.
Yeah.
Another Durham region guy. That's great, man.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so much talent embedded within this Pickering, Ajax, Whitby, Oshawa.
Mm-hmm.
It's so incredible. I'm glad that we're able to bring this to the forefront and let people realize that there's talent, not just in Toronto, but in the greater Toronto region.
For sure.
So talk about your biggest accomplishment to date. When did you feel like you had that come to Jesus moment where you're like, yo, I'm here. I'm almost there. I made it.
Yeah. It's a bunch of them, but when I really felt like, yo, this is really cool, it was my most recent trip to LA. It was my first time I actually rented a car, and I felt comfortable enough there to kind of live life. So I was in the car, and I was driving to a session, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. What am I doing here? And it was actually an artist that I've always wanted to work with too.
Who's the artist?
Tone Stith.
Okay.
He's insanely talented to me. So I was just whipping around. I had a nice car too. So it was just wow, I can't believe this is really my life. I really dreamt about this stuff from before.
And ladies and gentlemen, he's such a humble guy. I mean, for me, I know I'd be on Instagram live and look at the car. Yeah, I'm in LA. What's up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Taking trips, not feelings, whatever that saying is. You know what I'm saying? So it's your humility. You're catching flights, not feelings. Yeah, that's what I'd be saying the whole time. Hashtag.
Yeah.
But your humility is really impressive, and I love the way that you're so humble about everything. I mean, your resume is incredible. You've produced for Chris Brown, Mariah Carey, to name but a few, Tony Braxton.
Yeah.
Name some more.
There's a few more coming, but actually, I can't even talk about it. But
Okay, who you working with right now? Who you working
right
with
now?
Who's the biggest, the major artist you're working with right now?
Dylan Sinclair.
Dylan Sinclair.
That's
nice.
that's the guy. Yeah.
Nice. So he's got some big projects coming up.
For sure. His new music is incredible.
Right.
I'm really excited about it. He's really
Is he more hip hop? Is he more R&B?
R&B.
R&B?
Yeah, he's gonna be the guy to take R&B to that next level.
Yeah. So for me coming up, they compare me. They would say, okay, you're like the next Lawrence Taylor or the next Simeon Rice.
Yeah.
Who would he be compared to?
I would say probably Usher, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, maybe a fuse between Usher and Daniel Caesar probably.
Does he dance too? He dances like Usher?
A little bit, yeah.
Wow.
He's getting into his bag a little bit because he's like 20 years old right now, so he's starting to come out of his shell a little bit more, recognize himself. So
That's incredible. That's
Yeah.
incredible. So when can we look forward to hearing some music from him? I know he just released an EP recently.
yeah, just like a 2-pack EP. The full length EP is gonna be probably top of next year.
Right.
We're gonna drop some more singles in the next few months and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he's been working with some guys, man. Like we've been working with Boy Wonder. We've been working with like a bunch of other people have expressed interest that want to like work
Wow.
with him as well. But it's insane.
Because they see the talent.
Yeah,
They see the talent.
for
That's
sure.
incredible.
Sure.
So, you know, I've been an athlete my whole life. No longer an athlete, obviously a former professional athlete.
Forever an athlete.
Forever an athlete. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're far too kind. But when I played, every week I got paid.
Yeah.
How is it you get paid now?
It doesn't work like that. I'll tell you that.
You know, like back for me, like I would perform, I would go on the field, and I would
Yeah.
make tackles and make hits, and I would see a check waiting
Yeah.
for me at the end of the game.
Right.
How does that work for you? How do you get paid?
Yeah, so it's literally like 30 different streams of income.
Right.
Nowadays, it's usually better to like lock in and work with your own artist because you can
Right.
at least control like, you know, you see the back end of all the statements and you can kind of dictate your percentages a little bit more. But you can do that. There's, you know, whenever your song gets played on the radio, you get a few cents every time a song gets placed. You can ask for an advance.
Yeah.
You can like the way I do it is just best to have a hand in every single asset, so you at least have like more than one way to get money. Because if you wait for that one stream of income in music, you're gonna be broke.
Wow. So there's different ways you can get paid,
Yeah.
but from just one song. So you
sure.
literally can be making money while you sleep.
Yeah, actually.
Wow.
Literally.
So what is, let's give a ballpark figure. You don't have to give the exact figure. What's the biggest check you've ever seen from your royalties?
One, like royalties,
Or just a check
probably
in general?
five figures maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's when you're
Five
just like,
figures,
yeah,
yeah.
okay. Time to
Yeah.
move out, Mom. See you later.
Yo,
I'm
it's
out.
but it balances out each
Right.
everything, because there's periods where like there's months where you don't see anything.
Right.
So it's like when it does come, it's a lot, but you kind of have to make it stretch.
Right.
So if you have multiple that you're getting those type of checks from, then you're good. So
It's kind of like when I used to play in the league, and you would get paid for like 6 months, and
Yeah.
then the other 6 months you had to try to figure it out.
Exactly.
Or just stretch it out.
yeah,
right?
so
And
you got to be on top of your money.
Yeah, so I always see the seamless intersection between sports and music industry. It's very similar.
Same thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and there's always teams that I would say I would never play for that team, or an owner that I'm not going to play for him.
Right.
Are there artists that you would not work
Yeah,
with?
100%.
Yeah?
100%. And it's not even like anything malicious or any beef or anything like that, but you kind of, being in the industry for as long as I have, you kind of pay attention to certain things, like,
Right.
okay, how do they move when it comes to, you know, paying their artists or paying their producers, or how do they even promote their artists? Because now that I'm kind of more in the business end, I pay attention to so many other things. It's like, I'm probably not going to see a return from this if I do this, because their team doesn't really move like they care.
Right.
So it's like, I have to take all those things into account, but at the top of everything, it's like, do I like this person's music? Do I like them as a person? Do I like their voice? Like, that's first and foremost.
Absolutely.
A lot of that other stuff can take a backseat. If I love the music, if I love the artist, then I'll do anything, because that's gonna make money at the end of the day.
Right.
Anyway,
So the rap artist, the Baby, is been in the news as of late because he's had some issues with some of the things he said on stage.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not asking if you would work with him.
Yeah.
But now that you are a manager, okay, and you're managing Mr. Sinclair, Dylan
Yeah.
Sinclair, if that were to happen, what kind of advice would you kind of give to an artist to say, well, hey, just, you know?
I would say just speak when you're spoken to.
Wow.
You gotta, because like a lot of times, like, I don't necessarily think everybody means what they say all the time.
Right.
So it's like, you can literally just avoid it by just not saying things all the time. Like you can just chill out. It's not that serious.
You don't have to say that.
You didn't have to say that. Like somebody could take that the wrong way, even if you didn't mean it that way. Like you never know how people are gonna take your words. So just use as little of them as possible.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, you know, I wrote an article about Colin Kaepernick a couple years ago, and it brings to mind the fact that there's times where you don't have to stand up because there's a team around you that expects a lot from you.
Yeah.
And you're feeding a lot of people. And by you saying that one thing, you can stop that gravy train.
That's the thing that people don't actually think about. Like these guys aren't just them; they're a whole corporation behind them. So yeah, like you're saying, like you're feeding so many people, you got to watch what you say because every single thing is going to impact how those guys, you know, feed their families.
Yeah. So for me. When I was playing, my dream was to play for a Super Bowl or for a Grey Cup. I had never had a chance to do either. You had the chance to pretty much almost secure yourself as a Grammy Award winner. What was that feeling like?
The Grammys thing was cool because it was something that I was a part of with people that I came up with. So I don't really take that as my victory because that's
what was the song you were nominated for?
For the Daniel Caesar one.
Daniel Caesar one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was like I was so happy for those guys because they really built that entire album and they managed him as well. So it was literally like an entire team just doing their thing independently. So that was their win. I don't take that as mine. Like the Junos felt a little bit different because that's like I can kind of own that, but the Grammy thing that's them.
So you were nominated as Producer of the Year for the Junos as well. Talk about that.
That was crazy. Like I wasn't expecting it because I know Dylan had a really good year, so we had a feeling that he was gonna get a nomination. And I kind of put all of my effort into him for the entire year. So, but for me to get like my recognition as Producer of the Year was insane. Like I definitely had a moment that day in the car, like on the way to the studio.
Did you cry?
I did. I did. I can't lie. That was nice. One of the first. It was like happy tears. Like
no, for sure,
you know
for sure.
Like it was just crazy to think about.
Somebody was cutting the onion somewhere.
Yeah. The thing is, I didn't even think I cared that much, and then just randomly sitting in traffic, it just hit me. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, like, that's incredible. That's a great story, man.
Yeah.
You know. I always ask this question because music is such a big part of who I am and what I do. Every day I'm always listening to music. So what 3 songs or 3 artists that if I turn on your radio right now, what would you be listening to?
What I'd be listening to, it changes every day.
Yeah.
Like on the way here, I was listening to Sexy Can I by Ray J. But usually I'd say probably, man, something by her.
Nice.
Something by Drake at some point.
Yeah.
Something by
yourself.
By myself. Not even. I don't even listen to my own music like that.
All right.
But I've been listening to Afrobeat a lot, so.
I appreciate you coming in today, Jordon. It's been a pleasure talking to you, man.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me.
You got to come back and stop by again when you win that Grammy.
Of course.
Again, this is the Players Corner with Karim Grant. I'm your host, Karim Grant. Please join us again. Until then, stay blessed and stay safe.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Think it's okay to drive high? Think again. Drug-impaired driving is as illegal as drunk driving, and in Ontario, the penalties are the same. If police suspect you're driving